is big breaking coming in from Israel. At least 3 lakh Israeli Defense Forces, their soldiers, called in total to fight in Operation Swords of Iron against the Hamas terrorists. Nearly 3 lakh defense forces, 3 lakh soldiers have been called in to attack the Hamas terrorists. This is the largest number in the history of Israel, is what the spokesperson of Israeli Defense Force says. In fact, Israel is currently waging this ongoing war against Hamas terrorists who have fired thousands of rockets, infiltrated the country, that began Saturday morning. So this is day 3 of this attack, and we see that nearly 3 lakh Israeli Defense Forces have been called in to attack Hamas terrorists. And one should know that here we're looking at the Israeli counter-strike that have targeted nearly 500 of the Gaza Strip hideouts of the Hamas terrorists. Gaurav Saravanth is also with us. Gaurav, the biggest number, the largest that we can imagine since at least 5 decades, that Israel, for the first time in 5 decades, has called on war. And we see that they've called upon 3 lakh of their defense forces personnel, 3 lakh soldiers to come together and fight against the Hamas terrorists who are on this onslaught in Israel.
This is the big story that we're breaking here on India Today, and I quickly want to cut across to Emmanuel Keith Suarez, who joins us from Jerusalem on this big development that's taking place. Emmanuel, earlier today, where I am at Ashkelon, we had spoken to some youngsters, college students who'd been called out. They were now reservists. They've been called out to be a part of the Israeli forces. But what can you tell us about one of the biggest ever mobilization that is taking place and the purpose of this mobilization, Emmanuel?
Your audio is not clear.
What can you tell us about the mobilization that is taking place?
I didn't hear. What can you tell us about the
mobilization? 3 lakh soldiers mobilized.
Yes, most of the soldiers for the reserve are sent down south because the fighting is still happening in Ashkelon and Ashdod and Sderot areas. Looks like the IDF is gaining ground in this war, and now we are facing a few other attacks and hostilities, insurgencies in the West Bank area, especially in Hebron, in Bethlehem and in Ramallah. These are the headquarters of Hamas in the West Bank area. But the hostilities and insurgencies in the West Bank has actually been thwarted by the IDF. So it's quite under control in the West Bank area. But what I wanted to let you know, one second.
Yes, go on.
What I want you to know right now is that there's a heavy barrage of the missiles being sent towards the Jerusalem area and Tel Aviv area because in response to the onslaught of the IDF that have also had a missile barrage in the Gaza Strip area. And about 2 to 3 minutes before it was the latest siren for us to go into the bomb shelter. I just came out of a bomb shelter and now I've reached the city center of Jerusalem.